The bold and the beautiful spoilers reveal that a dangerous new face is about to unravel the deepest secrets of the Forrester family, and no one sees it coming. Los Angeles is buzzing once again as the fashion world prepares for the upcoming Forrester International reveal, an exclusive event that will bring press, models, and global designers to the heart of the Forrester Creations empire. Ridge is feeling the pressure, but it's not just about the new line. Something deeper has been bothering him. Behind closed doors, he has been receiving mysterious letters, each one containing a personal secret that no one else should know. At first, Ridge thought it might be Sheila playing games again, but when he confronted her, she seemed genuinely confused and surprisingly terrified. Meanwhile, Brooke starts to notice Ridge's sleepless nights and erratic behavior. Their relationship, once on a path of healing, is again at risk as Ridge pulls away emotionally. Brooke confides in Steffi, who grows suspicious and begins her own quiet investigation. At the same time, Thomas is working tirelessly on the new designs, trying to prove to everyone, especially Hope, that he's changed. Hope, however, remains cautious. Her heart is still torn between the man Thomas claims to be now and the manipulative version he once was. Things get more complicated when Hope starts receiving cryptic texts, messages about her night with Thomas in Rome. The messages aren't blackmail yet, but they hint at someone watching from the shadows. Over at the Spencer Publications office, Liam is spiraling. He's trying to juggle co-parenting with Hope, his feelings for Steffi, and his constant worry about Thomas. Bill notices his son's growing instability and urges him to take a step back before he ruins his life again. But Liam doesn't listen. Instead, he starts tailing Thomas secretly, convinced he'll catch him in a lie. Sheila, now on thin ice with both Deacon and Finn, is trying to prove she's changed. But when she receives a package containing a single photo, an old, hidden image of her and a baby no one knows about, her world flips. She hides the photo quickly, but Deacon notices her distress. Sheila refuses to talk, but Deacon knows something's wrong. Meanwhile, Finn, who's been trying to protect Steffi and their kids from Sheila's drama, starts having strange dreams involving a woman he's never met. Dreams that feel eerily real. Elsewhere, in a hidden room above a boutique in downtown LA, a young woman named Isla Mendez pins photos of the Forresters, Logans, and Spencers onto a wall. Each one is marked with color-coded pins. Red for revenge, blue for secrets, yellow for leverage. Isla speaks aloud. It's time. One by one they'll fall. Starting with Ridge. Who is Isla Mendez? And how does she know so much about the Forrester family's deepest secrets? Back at Forrester Creations, the walls seem to close in. RJ overhears a heated phone call between Ridge and someone he can't identify. When RJ confronts his father, Ridge brushes it off. But RJ secretly records part of the conversation and sends it to Steffi. Steffi immediately recognizes the name mentioned. Catalina. A place Ridge once went during a mysterious business trip years ago. Catalina is also where Hope once lost her baby, or thought she did. Alarm bells start ringing. Brooke visits Eric and shares her concerns about Ridge. Eric is worried too, especially when Ridge asks for access to a forgotten storage room that hasn't been opened in over a decade. Inside the dusty room, Ridge finds an old, locked briefcase. As he opens it, the camera cuts away, but the look on his face says everything: shock, terror, and guilt. Meanwhile, Thomas receives a sketchbook in the mail. It's his, but it went missing 2 years ago. Inside the pages are disturbing designs. Ones he doesn't remember drawing, alongside journal entries revealing secrets he never told a soul. Someone is messing with their minds, playing with their memories. At Il Giardino, Deacon receives a visitor, Isla Mendez. She introduces herself as a journalist, but her line of questioning quickly turns personal. She asks about Sheila's past. Deacon grows suspicious and asks her to leave, but not before Isla slips a small envelope into his pocket. Inside is a photo of a newborn baby wrapped in a Forrester blanket. The twist? The photo is dated 2002. The same year Ridge disappeared for several months without explanation. Sheila stares at the same photo that night. Her hands tremble. She whispers, "No, not her." As the day of the international reveal approaches, Ridge finally confides in Brooke. "I think someone is trying to destroy us," he says. Brooke asks who. He replies, someone who should be dead. Cut to Isla watching a live stream of the Forrester offices. She smiles coldly. Let's see how long the mighty Forresters can keep their little kingdom. Suddenly, her screen flashes. A file appears titled Project Rebirth, Confidential, Forrester Labs. Isla clicks it, and the screen fades to black. Rich couldn't sleep. Even after his confession to Brooke, the weight of everything pressing down on him only grew heavier. The briefcase he opened in the storage room revealed more than forgotten documents. It contained a sealed DNA report, a photo of a child he never knew existed, and a contract signed with a name Ridge hadn't uttered in 20 years. Eva Mendes, a woman from his past, presumed dead. Brooke sat beside him that night, trying to process it all. Ridge explained that during a long-ago break from their relationship, he had an affair in Spain. It ended suddenly, and he was told Eva had died in childbirth. He never questioned it, until now. And if Isla Mendes is Eva's daughter, then she's his. Across town, Thomas stared at the final page of the returned sketchbook. One word was written over and over again in red ink: traitor. Panic started to settle in. He rushed to Steffi's house and showed her everything. Steffi, who already had the voice recording from RJ, and was investigating Ridge's Catalina trip, began connecting the dots. The Forrester family had a secret child, possibly Ridge's, hidden from everyone. And she was here now. Finn, meanwhile, confided in Steffi that he had done a discreet DNA test on a patient who came into the hospital under a false name, Isla Martinez. He was curious because her blood sample showed strong genetic similarities to Steffi's. That confirmed it. Isla wasn't just a stranger, she was a Forrester. Or at least partly. At the same time, Liam finally confronted Thomas with the surveillance footage he had been collecting. But what he found shocked even him. It wasn't Thomas doing anything suspicious. It was Hope. She had visited Isla twice. Alone. When Liam demanded answers, Hope confessed. Isla had approached her months ago, claiming to be an independent investigator trying to expose Sheila. She offered Hope information on Beth's kidnapping and the Catalina cover-up. Hope, desperate to understand the truth, followed Isla blindly. Now she realized too late that Isla was playing her. Sheila, on the other hand, was spiraling. The image of the baby broke down and told Deacon the truth. Eva Mendes was once Sheila's patient in a secret underground clinic funded by a private investor, Rich Forrester. Eva died in childbirth, but Sheila kept the baby alive and handed her over to an unknown foster system. A decision she made to protect the child from the Forresters. Or so she believed. That baby was Isla, now grown and vengeful. At Forrester Creations, preparations for the international reveal moved forward, unaware of the storm about to erupt. Eric, curious about all the strange energy, reviewed the building's recent access logs. He noticed someone had broken into the server room at midnight 3 nights in a row. When he and Carter reviewed the security footage, the person's face was blurred, but she had a distinctive necklace. The same one Isla had worn during her journalist visit to Deacon. The footage was forwarded to Ridge just minutes before the show. Tension was high backstage. Ridge stared at the screen in the dressing room as Isla Mendes, posing as a production assistant, walked freely among models and staff. The pieces finally clicked. Isla had planned this reveal not as a celebration, but a detonation. Ridge rushed toward the stage, but it was too late. The lights dimmed. Isla took center stage. Ladies and gentlemen, she began, her voice confident and cold. Today we unveil not just a fashion line, but the truth. She gestured to the massive screen behind her, which suddenly played a video montage. Ridge's affair with Eva, Hope's secret meeting with Isla, Thomas's disturbing sketchbook, and worst of all, surveillance clips of Brooke and Deacon's secret meeting months ago, heavily edited to suggest an affair. The audience gasped. Eric, Steffi, and Thomas froze. Brooke's face turned pale. The crowd exploded into chaos. Reporters scrambled. Investors walked out. The Forresters were imploding, publicly. Rich finally made it to the stage. Isla, please stop this. I know who you are now. You're my daughter. But Isla shook her head. No, Ridge. I'm your consequence. She stepped off the stage as Ridge collapsed in shock. Security escorted her out, but not before she whispered to Hope, "Tell Thomas, we're not done." In the aftermath, Forrester Creations' stock plummeted. The press labeled the event the Forrester Exposé. Rich secluded himself in his office for days. Eric tried to hold the company together. Steffi, now furious, vowed revenge. But it was Thomas who took action first. He tracked Isla to a remote cabin in Big Bear. When he arrived, she was waiting. "I knew you'd come," she said calmly. "You're the only one who doesn't see me as a monster." Thomas, still torn between fury and compassion, demanded answers. Isla explained everything. How she grew up bouncing between homes, always wondering why she had been abandoned. When she discovered her birth records and traced her DNA to Ridge, her pain turned to rage. But somewhere along the way, it became something darker. An obsession with justice, on her own terms. Thomas said softly, "You hurt everyone I love. You ruined lives. That's not justice." Isla replied, "Then what is justice for a girl who was never wanted?" Thomas stared into her eyes, and for a moment he saw himself. The version of him that once manipulated people, blinded by emotion. "You're not alone," he whispered. Isla broke down in tears. In a stunning twist, Thomas didn't turn her in. He brought her back, secretly, to talk to Ridge. In a raw, emotional scene, Ridge finally sat across from his lost daughter. No cameras. No lies. Just truth. "I didn't know," he said. Isla asked, "Would it have made a difference if you had?" Ridge replied, "Yes. Everything." The two embraced in silence. Over the next few weeks, the Forresters worked to rebuild their reputation. Brooke and Ridge's bond grew stronger, even after the scandal. Hope and Liam separated once more, realizing trust was too fractured to repair. Thomas stepped down temporarily to focus on healing. Isla, under a new identity, moved overseas, but not before writing a heartfelt letter to Steffi, apologizing. The final scene shows Ridge on the rooftop of Forrester Creations at sunrise, holding a photo of Eva and Isla. He whispers, "I lost so much, but maybe, just maybe, this is the beginning." Fade out.